The rain fell softly outside, painting streaks of silver across the cafe window. Inside, the warmth of the room felt like a protective cocoon, a safe haven from the storm. I stirred my coffee, not really paying attention. My thoughts a tangled mess, all centered around Lily's sudden disappearance last night. Her soft laugh, the way her touch had lingered on my hand, it all haunted me, leaving an ache I couldn't quite explain. Was it hope? Was it fear? I wasn't sure. Just then, a gentle tap on the window broke me out of my thoughts. I looked up, and my breath caught. It was Lily, soaked from the rain, but smiling, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. My heart started thumping against my ribs as I rushed to open the door for her. She shook off the rain like a little bird, water dripping from her dark hair. Her grin was sheepish, almost shy. I couldn't stay away, she admitted, brushing a wet strand of hair from her face. I needed to see you. I swallowed hard, my throat suddenly tight. The relief that washed over me was so powerful it almost buckled my knees. You scared me last night, I managed to say. I didn't know if you'd come back. I'm here now, Lily whispered, stepping closer. The space between us crackled with an electric tension, thick with all the unspoken words of longing and fear that had been building for months. She placed the wildflowers on the table, but her fingers stayed close to mine, almost touching. I can't hide anymore. My breath hitched. My fingers found hers, and they intertwined so effortlessly, so naturally, like they were always meant to be there. The warmth of her touch ignited something deep inside me, something I'd kept dormant for far too long. I've missed you, I confessed, my voice barely a whisper. More than I realized, Lily's eyes softened, and they seemed to glisten with unshed tears. Slowly, deliberately, she leaned in, resting her forehead against mine. Then let's not waste another moment. The world outside, the rain, the quiet hum of the cafe, it all seemed to disappear. Her lips met mine in a tentative kiss, soft at first, as if we were testing the waters, exploring a new and fragile territory. But then it deepened, filled with a hunger that spoke of months of suppressed desire, of stolen glances, and silent wishes. My hand slid to her waist, pulling her closer, wanting to feel every part of her against me. Her fingers traced the curve of my neck, memorizing the feel of my skin, sending shivers down my spine. When we finally pulled apart, our foreheads still pressed together, our breaths mingling in the small space between us, I couldn't help but smile. It was a real, genuine smile, one that reached my eyes. I've wanted this for so long, I admitted, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. Me too, Lily murmured, and she pressed another gentle, reassuring kiss to my lips. But we have to be careful. Things aren't simple, Emma. I knew she was right. Our lives were complicated, tangled with other people and other expectations. I know, I replied, my hand coming up to cup her cheek, my thumb stroking her soft skin. But maybe, for once, we can just focus on us. On what we feel right now. Lily nodded, a small, almost imperceptible movement, and rested her head against my shoulder. We sat there in comfortable silence for a few moments, the sound of the rain outside mirroring the newfound calm between us. Every touch, every small smile we shared felt like a promise, a quiet declaration that we were done hiding, at least from each other. Suddenly, the little bell on the cafe door jingled, announcing a new customer. We both instinctively pulled back, the easy peace shattered as a jolt of tension shot through us. My eyes darted to the door, and my heart dropped. It was Mia, my roommate. She shot us a curious glance, a little frown creasing her brow, before she turned and headed to the counter to order. My cheeks flushed hot with embarrassment and panic. Lily must have felt me tense up, because she squeezed my hand reassuringly under the table. "Don't worry," she whispered, her voice a calming balm on my frayed nerves. "We'll figure out the rest later. Right now, it's just us." I took a deep breath and nodded, leaning into her warmth, letting it chase away the cold fear. "Just us," I echoed, letting myself savor this rare, perfect feeling of peace. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, the world felt a little less complicated, a little less lonely. Here, in Lily's embrace, I had found a refuge, a secret half of my life that was finally seeing the light of day. Hours drifted by as we sat there. The heavy downpour eased into a gentle, rhythmic drizzle. We talked quietly, sharing stories from our past, our hopes for the future, punctuated by soft laughter. Our hands never separated, a constant, grounding connection between us. Every brush of her skin was electric, every shared glance an unspoken vow. The cafe slowly began to empty out as the evening wore on, but neither of us wanted this night to end. We were in our own little bubble, and we weren't ready for it to pop. Finally, Lily stood up, pulling me gently with her as she held my hand. "Walk with me?" she asked, a playful, mischievous glint in her eyes that made my heart flutter all over again. I smiled, a real wide smile, and stood to follow her. Outside, the world was damp but so alive, the air clean and fresh after the storm. As we walked down the glistening sidewalk, our fingers still entwined, I realized something profound. Hiding didn't feel necessary anymore. It didn't feel like a heavy cloak I had to wear to survive. With Lily by my side, I felt strong. I felt seen. I could finally embrace the other half of my heart, the part I had kept locked away for so long. And maybe, just maybe, whatever came next, we could face it together. Thank you for listening to this part of our story. I can't wait to share what happens next, so make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications on. See you in the next one.